You are now listening to Mistakes Are Delicious, a Dancakes podcast. This podcast is intended for a mature audience. All right. What's up, mad lads?
Yeah!
Hey, coming at you with another episode of Mistakes Are Delicious podcast.
Take 47.
Take 5.
Take
Take 5.
That's a great candy bar.
Quite literally take 5.
I'm Hank, and to my left is
Jimmy. To
How many?
my left.
Is Dana. Hey, everybody.
adjacent.
Now you have to say to your...
Oh, I'm sorry. To my across from me.
To Ben, and to my left.
Dan. And to my left...
Hank.
All right, do we
To
keep going?
Now we go
To
back.
Hank's left.
No, so this actually is our fifth take of this episode. So
Everything's broken and we're dying.
We got like almost 20
we
minutes
literally
in.
found the meaning of life within the first 10 minutes.
And it's lost
And
forever
we're
now.
fine.
We forgot to record it, and all of us forgot what we said.
We're double checking everything.
42.
It's working.
Okay.
It's working.
For sure working now.
It's working.
Good catch, Ben.
Good. Thanks, Ben.
Yes,
Yeah,
good
no
catch.
problem. You're welcome, guys.
Remember that one time we did a Mistakes Are Delicious podcast and we didn't catch it at all?
The entire episode?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like a 4 audience
Anyway.
podcast.
Amateur night.
So, one thing I was saying to the guys in the last episode, and actually outside of this, is people. So we've been playing a lot of games, and the Mistakes Are Delicious. We actually got some attention from the people that created that game, Bad People, and they offered to send us some games, which is cool. We're gonna take them up on that offer.
Very cool.
And play some that their audience could see us too. But also, I know some of the earlier episodes we did more talking. Now, the problem with the talking episodes, if you don't have a clear subject matter, it can go 2 hours long, which happened to us quite often, which is pretty lengthy. But I actually purchased these thing called Podecks, which I've heard some other podcasters I listen use for guests mainly, but also to get ideas for episodes. So you're not just flailing every time you, or like it's a burden every time you need to think of an episode. So I thought this one we're gonna ask each person here an individual question, and these could be super interpersonal. These could be simple, like what's your favorite food. So Dan, I'm going to read to you. You can read to Ben, and we'll rotate that way.
So are you going to read to me the same question you read to me on the previous take?
You don't know what it is, right?
I don't.
Dan, what do you value most in furries?
Probably authenticity.
No, the first question.
Nice.
I do too, and I don't value it mute furries because I want to see you in that suit. It's like a mask.
Oh, are you still traumatized
Yes.
from... Okay, you want to...
I was more angry about that, but I'm not going to get into that.
Okay, just leave him wondering.
Just leave them wondering.
So that's for
Headcanon.
we should
Oh
do an
my
episode
God.
about
What's the lore?
that con. We'll do an episode about that con, our cons we've been to. But Dan, your first question is, what do you value most in your friends?
Value most in my friends.
All the monster I stocked the fridge with.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
That's a big one.
It's the number of snacks that they bring home from Sam's Club trips. Because gotta have those. Gotta have my pops, man. No, it's authenticity is my answer to that. Because I guess my point with that is just that human relationships with your friends and your partners and whoever the hell you happen to be around. I mean, the longer you know people and the longer you spend time with one another and the closer you get, the better you get to know one another, the more opportunities you have to make a complete fucking fool of yourself in front of them.
True.
Or, violate their trust or cross boundaries you don't know are there and all that sort of thing. And, I mean, boundaries is a major keyword that's been buzzing around in my head ever since I learned it. Just the idea that there are there's a lot of unspoken emotional rules that every person kind of carries around with them. Like I do a certain thing a certain way, but when I do that certain thing around this other person, it makes them feel a certain way that I wouldn't have expected, and I won't know about it unless they tell me. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to like having healthy friendships, meaningful friendships, I think a major component is just people being able to be real with one another about that stuff. Like when that stuff comes up, being able to say, hey, you know that thing you did thoughtlessly and without any mind whatsoever? Kind of fucked with me, man. Kind of messed my day up. Because if that stuff doesn't get expressed, then, you know, there's a threshold. There's like a threshold of BS, of resentment that can build up in a relationship before you just have these cataclysmic relationship-ending fights.
It's like this tomb or something.
There's like a straw that breaks the camel's back, and then all of that resentment comes out.
Yeah. Well, and it's because there's like there's this resistance to saying it in the moment that a lot of people feel. Like we're afraid to be vulnerable with one another. We're afraid to express ourselves. It's not polite, or it's gonna mess up the day, or it's gonna make the day.
They don't have time
uncomfortable.
for this.
They don't have time or energy. But the problem is that if you don't make time for it when you think of it, you stop thinking of it, except the resentment doesn't go away. And so then like 5 months later, you're, you know, standing in a shopping mall with Ben screaming in public just over all this stuff that's just
Too
like
real.
completely unexpressed. And you're just, and it's
It turns into a weeks-long argument.
yeah, it turns into a weeks-long argument. And, you know, it can be kind of a pain in the ass to cut through the brambles, the emotional minefield you've laid down for yourself. And then over time, you realize it's just so much easier long term if you can get to a point where when something happens, you can talk about it then.
You know what the worst part is when the rental won't start after that argument.
Oh God,
Yeah,
I was just like,
that was a day. I was there.
oh my gosh.
I was just kind of, I
I
took no joy, but I did witness all of it.
You and Jenny were just like, you want to go look at stores?
Yeah, Jenny's our artist out in Anaheim, and we were with you guys, and I
Boston,
literally
right?
walked
Yeah.
away and bought my calendar. I was like, oh, cool,
guys are-
calendar, and I just like saw you guys in the middle of the mall. Like, ah. It wasn't bad.
I
though.
stood
It was
there with
lame.
Yeah, it was
You're like my dad's.
it
There was
fighting.
no blood.
yeah, it was
Why
it
not?
was bad. I
Oh,
mean,
okay. Well, I did walk away, so that's
yeah.
fair.
I got a quick
I
question.
mean, it ended in tears. So
I do want to talk more on that, but ask your question
Nice.
if it's not.
It will derail if you want to talk more on that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say like that was when he asked the question. I had my answer, and it was just that word, because like my relationships have changed drastically. Like how I go about being a person has changed since I moved here. Because like, I mean, for example, like, and it doesn't even have to be like, oh, I hurt you and you told me. Like for example, right before this podcast, you know, to put it shortly, I'm in that week where I'm very emotional, and I told you guys, and I'm like, hey, if I get snippy, that's, I don't mean to, and I'm going to let you guys know because it makes me more comfortable. That was unheard of for me a few years ago, and you guys are maybe the only people that I would do that with, because there's this weird, like, you see all these school posters when you're a kid that says, you know, be yourself, and yet you get so many messages to the contrary. You know, it's like, you can't talk about that. Quit being weird. Quit being, like,
And
keep
it's
it to yourself.
funny because half the population of the world deals with what you're talking about. To
Isn't
not
it-
talk about it.
isn't it
is-
Shark Week on Discovery Channel right now?
I believe so.
Is
Just
that?
wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Jessica does say it's Shark Week, so I hear a lot of girls say that. But
Well, for me, it's a week before Shark Week, which is when I get really angry.
interesting. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Because
Yeah.
Yeah,
same
the-
thing with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
The,
But the funny
the
thing is-
P is the pre.
The funny thing is, Dana, what you're saying to us, I don't know about you guys, at least in my relationship, like I hear that so often. It's like, oh, I understand. I get what you're saying
Well,
because
and
I
it's-
hear it from my girlfriend quite often.
And it takes like a certain amount of vulnerability, because like I said to you guys, I'm like, you know, I kind of feel like crying right now, and I might have been snippy, and like my hands are shaking, and I'm just in this weird place. And like for me a few years ago, or like before understanding the importance of authenticity, it was like, you can't say you're a negative emotion that's not just being angry. What does Brene Brown say? It's like the only negative emotion apparently that's socially acceptable is anger. You know, you can't be like, oh man, I feel like crying, or I'm sad, or I'm, you know, down on myself. And it's like, once you have that with people, your life changes. Because yeah,
You're not carrying all this energy, this like
you're not
anxious,
acting
frantic.
You're not acting, because I totally could have done this podcast and just hoped to God I didn't blow up or like snap or something, which I don't think I will, but like it's just part of it, you know. Carrying it is also hard and puts weight on you, and yeah, so I like that answer.
But in all honesty, if you did snap, that be a good promo.
Yeah. Listen,
You want me to snap?
To quote Tom Hanks from A League of Their Own, there's no crying in baseball.
You just break a
Ugh.
guitar over
Very
Jimmy's
poignant.
head.
I always hate
Because
when
he's
someone's
close.
Well
upset.
contributed, Ben.
Also, did anyone ever tell you you look like a penis with a little hat on?
Oh, Jimmy in particular?
I think Tom Hanks.
I mean, he told that to the umpire
Oh.
after there's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, I hate when people are like really sad and then people are like, "Don't cry." It's like, let them cry. They gotta.
It was the 40s.
Also,
You
there's
know.
the opposite
Yeah.
where you're at a funeral and someone's like, "You feel weird for not crying?"
Yeah. People don't want your authenticity if it's not like marketable for
Appropriate.
that moment. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it was. I didn't cry at my grandpa's funeral, and
I
yeah,
didn't,
I felt weird. But my cousin, who had some of his, whenever he was younger, had people he actually grew up with die. He's like, yeah, whenever one of my my so and so friend died, the minister just said, whatever you do or however you feel is the right feeling.
yeah. Just lack of judgment in your friends is important because people will judge you for just having an impulse and doing it.
Ben's question.
Ben, we got a good one
did
for you.
wanna
Oh,
say
boy.
something, though?
That's good.
Oh, okay.
We got a good one for you. This is a very Ben question. You'll have an interesting answer for this, I'm sure. What technology do you wish existed?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ben is our tech boy, so
I'd say go two routes. One that would help
The world.
Dancakes and one that you're like overall.
I mean,
Small picture.
as far as Dancakes, we pretty well got that one covered.
Just
Working
built it.
server.
If we had
Yeah.
fiber, that'd be great.
Yeah, if we had fiber.
But it
internet-
exists.
Yeah,
It's just not
two
here.
blocks away. Yeah, it would be nice because we have a file server that we keep all of our raw video files on. We edit from on. We have 3 computers, so we all share the server and we all edit off of the server. And then once we run out of room, I have to upload it to an external enclosure and take it to my house, put it on my server.
Funny enough,
bury
has
it in
fiber.
the ground.
Yeah, I have fiber in my neighborhood, which is actually a much poorer neighborhood than Hank's neighborhood. So the fact that I have really good fiber internet all over my neighborhood is ironic,
Yeah.
but nice.
So what about outside of Dancakes?
Outside of Dancakes, I would say I have like this weird hope that before I die, that the singularity occurs.
That's interesting.
Right when you're about to
You
die.
want to upload your consciousness?
That would be interesting. Like what? I mean, that's
the premise of upload the show.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to just the ability to because we're obviously the obvious thing either if we don't destroy ourselves first, or
Why not both?
I mean, it could be, but I mean, I
Just
said
What do you think the rapture is? Ben?
I said first, I didn't say if we don't destroy
Just
ourselves.
imagine a
It's a large
server
bird
in the
of prey.
desert.
But we're obviously going to be using computers to enhance either memory or cognitive ability and all these things.
Just
and
Elon Musk wired to 1 million Boston Dynamics robots.
I don't think
do you
Elon
think
Musk is going to be the one who
do you think that-
does it, if I'm being honest.
That microchip he made for music. It's
mean-
funny because right now it's like I wouldn't get that, but 15 years from now, it'd be
Like, you're
like,
talking about like the Neuralink thing?
yeah, we're
You just put it in your brain and you can just hear music.
What if they just
Yeah.
rickrolled you for all time?
that's
That's
the
why I don't
problem.
want to do it.
Boom.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is we can. I mean, I don't think
pacemaker.
it would. I don't think it would have to be necessarily implanted into your brain. I think that's probably
It could
the
be
good part.
on your pocket and something.
Well, I mean, because we can read brain waves just by sticking electrodes on your head. So I mean, and we have the ability to interpret those, and we're only going to get better at it. So, and we can. So I mean,
Isn't that what Neuralink is?
to a certain extent? Well, yeah, but there's also stuff where they actually put a electrode, in between the two halves of your brain for people who have epilepsy and stuff.
Well-
And then there's people who have Alzheimer's where they're doing studies now where they actually put low voltage on the specific centers of your brain that are generally affected by Alzheimer's, the ones that atrophy that cause you to die in the first place and cognitively decline, where they actually will attach an electrode to those specific portions of the brain, and all they do is provide
Stimulation.
just a very low constant voltage to that area, and the one case that I saw. I mean, they're doing larger scale studies, but they have to catch it early enough too, because otherwise the decline is too much that they can't really measure it. But there's one guy particularly that I saw is it on documentary. He got it, and it's been a decade, and he shows absolutely no cognitive decline or any
pretty cool.
any symptoms. Now the plaque buildup is still happening,
Right.
But the actual symptoms aren't happening.
So far.
So far, and that's a decade in, which
So if
generally speaking, you would see a pretty steep decline.
Oh, yeah.
If you stopped the, you said electricity or is a pulse?
Yeah,
sensor?
it's just a
Low voltage.
constant low voltage.
Would all of the symptoms just be there because the plaque is there? Like, would you just forget everything?
I don't know. I'm not but my educated guess would be that because those parts of your brain, whenever you have some sort of whether it be Alzheimer's or Lewy body or even schizophrenia, because all of those are degenerative brain disorders, which I think schizophrenia is the one that people don't actually realize because you can actually see it on a brain scan. Like it actually causes parts of your brains to atrophy, and that's how they can diagnose it. And any sort of those, they cause parts of your brain to atrophy. So I think in his instance, if they move the electrical current, the symptoms, he would basically just be starting from baseline.
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's exercising a muscle the whole time, and so the muscle's stronger.
There was no atrophy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he would be starting from that point, and it may be since the plaque buildup is still occurring that maybe it would occur faster.
Right.
But he would be that's where he would be starting.
Interesting.
I got to piggyback from that question because I thought of it right as you were saying. Like you said, the singularity, which is very interesting. I think a technology I'm waiting for, which may or may not be possible, is to record dreams.
That would
Hell yeah.
That would be interesting. I mean, some of that kind of exists already.
I mean, this is not the
Yeah.
spirit
You ever
within.
used a notebook?
Oh, well, I can't. Well, it would shake the media industry. Yeah, like, I'm not going to fucking watch this movie.
Why
I'm going to
make
watch
a-
Dan's
yeah.
dreams for what episode this week. Oh, okay, this is bad. This is.
What's with the bugs?
Dreams are revealing.
Why is he a
though.
furless cat anamorph?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the singularity thing, part of it for me is just like it'd be interesting because then you get to extend your life. Which I mean, even pre-singularity, you probably could because like the biggest things other than your body dying is your brain
Right.
turning to mush. So
Do you want to be immortal? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about immortal, but just being able to extend your useful life, I guess, because obviously, like I'm of an age now. I mean, we're all of an age where you still have lots of useful life left. Like you still have the ability.
works, yeah.
You still have the ability to contribute something.
To
Whether
go and look at the Grand Canyon and like
exactly,
walk.
but if you're like 90 years old and like you're just kind of like
You're just a brain in a decaying
you're-
shell.
and in that case,
Maybe
you
decaying
may not
brain?
even be a particularly functional brain for that matter. You might and you might be functional enough to be aware of that fact.
That reminds me of-
In that instance, like you might be like, all right, I'm good. Like I can go now.
I just don't want to be like Metallica's one song.
Oh yeah,
Never want
which
that.
is based off of a movie.
real case, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's based off a movie, which I mean, but which there are
Which is based on a real case.
yeah.
I would only accept the singularity if it's like Tron, where I can run around
It could be.
the
Light
internet.
bikes.
But if all I'm seeing is like a command prompt for eternity, I don't want it.
I mean, well, because I don't think that's what it would be though.
I mean, what would it be? How would we perceive it?
I mean, it's true, but how would you perceive a command prompt then?
I kind of don't
Well,
think.
that's what I'm saying. If it's just like a screen where I'm sitting there
Well,
chatting
just
with people
learn,
forever, I don't
learn
want it.
how to use a terminal, Jimmy. Jesus Christ.
That shouldn't be
like
how
in
you
Fallout,
achieve it.
you just gotta guess the password.
All right, Dana's question.
Go for it, Ben.
Ooh.
Oh my god. What is it?
What is your greatest regret?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, whenever I think about regrets, like,
Ragettes.
yes,
Is that Jamaican?
I kind of think of like, I don't think I have any big ones. I feel like I haven't fucked up that bad yet because it is inevitable.
Then what was the point of me helping you bury that body?
That was for your conscience, Hank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my fault. You're right.
Well, what's a mild regret then?
Yeah. I mean, the one I think about the most, even though it's not like massive because it was like middle school, going back to authenticity, I remember I was friends with this girl who shall remain nameless, and
An eldritch girl.
again, this was like 6th grade, I think. And yeah, she was cool. I remember we had a bunch of sleepovers at her house. Her family was awesome. Like, I just, we were just friends. And I remember she kind of got quieter, and none of us really knew why. And then she started wearing more like goth stuff. And, it was the kind of thing like I love my friends I still have like a group chat with all my high school friends and stuff, but like I do think there was like a serious issue in my Catholic school grade of like, I mean, it's middle school stuff, but I feel like I didn't really have a friend who like told it like it was. I never felt like I could cry in front of my friends in middle school. Like that was just unheard of. I can think of one person who did, and like she was made fun of, which is terrible. And that's definitely part of it. Like,
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was a bully, but I definitely was not kind in a lot of
Callous.
instances, which if you want to say that's bullying, then like I'll take it. Like I'd rather
Part of the peanut gallery.
No, I think that's growing up, man.
Yeah. And I do regret that a lot. Like she and I are really great friends now. She actually visited a few years
Well,
ago.
that's cool.
And I'm sorry, I might be mixing it up. The girl who expressed a lot of vulnerability, we're friends still. The girl who's goth, this is just kind of like, that's the story I was telling, but that was just trying to explain the scenario. So let's call her, for confusion's sake, let's call her Marie. So yeah, Marie got a lot more introverted, started to dress really like dark and like, like the Hot Topic type stuff, like the sleeves and the
Plastic bracelets.
like the gloves with the thumb and the fingers cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's dope.
Proto rave kid.
I remember I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, sick, because like I didn't have any judgment about it. I was just like, neat. And so I remember she invited me, and we went shopping at Hot Topic together. And I bought like a wristband that was like black and white. And I remember I went home, and my family like made fun of me. They're like, "What are you, goth now? Like that's goth. What? Like she's
Just
weird."
a wristband, fuck.
And yeah, and I remember I had like a moment of like, oh my god, like that kind of like, oh, I'm being teased. What if I'm ostracized? Primal response. And then I didn't talk to Marie again. I mean, a little bit, but I remember everyone didn't want to sit with her at lunch, and I was one of the last people to. And after that happened, I just started sitting with the other people.
Yeah.
And I've legitimately thought about reaching out, because it's the kind of thing where it's like, like I guess the thing holding me back is I'm worried that it would be selfish, because it is more for me than for her, but also I can't know. And if it's something where she's like, I don't want to hear this, like you did what you did, then I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a fair response. But like,
Roll the
yeah,
dice.
yeah. And I remember in like like my family's credit, I remember my dad did say, maybe ask her if things are okay. But like, I didn't really have that modeled. Like I'd never been asked like, hey, are you all right? Like you look upset, nor had I ever done it with anybody, nor would I feel safe to in my friend group. And so I didn't. And I think just looking back, like I don't blame myself, because it was just
It's middle school.
my level of knowledge. It was my level of like emotional intuition, which was near zero.
Yeah.
And if you cry, you should be laughed at and gossiped about. And so yeah, and I just remember it was really awkward after that, and I really wanted to reconnect, but I was afraid about everybody's judgments towards me. And yeah, it just sucks. I think about her a lot, and I think about that a lot, and I would say that is my biggest
Then
regret.
you should reach out.
That was a pretty good answer.
Thanks. I almost did like 2 years ago, and then I dropped it for a while, I think because she left the country for something, but she's back now, and she's in my hometown. So
Give it a shot, man.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have a new friend.
yeah, that'd be cool.
And maybe
Maybe she'll.
Maybe you won't.
Someone to shop at Hot Topic with.
That's
yeah,
right.
I mean, she was awesome. Like, and it's just a
She
bummer.
might really
that, like,
appreciate it.
I hope so.
I mean-
it's just
I don't see.
I mean, just next time you go back to Fort Wayne when there's not a pandemic, just see if she wants to get coffee or
I
some
thought
shit.
I thought about sending
Yeah.
her a Facebook message. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I like. Like my friend Jason out in San Francisco, which you met,
Yeah.
you and Jenny both met him because it was like we weren't really friends in high school. We weren't not friends. We were musicians. We were like one of the handful of musicians, so we could get along on that level. But we didn't hang out outside of school. We just we got along. But that was it. But yeah, like it's like I know he's in San Francisco, and like I'm in San Francisco. Hey, what's up? You want to like go get some fucking food? And so we did. And so now from
Did you guys have a weird history? Is it?
No, we just ran in two different friend circles.
Oh, I got you.
You know, and so it's and we we talked about jamming together and stuff, but like nothing ever never came together. We probably could have been really good friends because we're both like obviously he works for Instacart now, but we were both tech nerds and we're both musicians, so we have that in common, and we probably agree on most things like philosophically. So
what if you guys end up
and he's also he came from a lower middle class family, but he hung around with more of the preppy kids who were like more upper middle class. So we probably had more in common than we.
Damn, Ben, you could have had a family with him. You could have been married.
I know exactly. No, but yeah, but it was just because our friends didn't. As in high school, your friend groups don't really cross friend groups.
Yeah.
I had multiple friend groups, and like we never hung out together. Like I would hang out with one friend group or the other friend group.
Yeah. Same here.
That's the sad thing about like the story I was telling is that like I was in a small class, and so there was like one friend group and the outcasts, and I regret not being a better person
town shit.
because I wanted to hang out with the people who were. And I remember, even not to name any specifics, but I did stand up for someone once, and I got backlash from my friends directly. They're like, "Why did you say that?" When I was like defending the fact that they were upset or the person was upset. I was just like, guys, leave her alone.
Humans are animals.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm not.
we are,
I feel like certain people will
contributed.
listen to this and think I'm trying to like cast blame, and it's just the sad fact. It's like you were saying, the social conditioning of authenticity, and I do think there are certain circles in which it is worse. And I won't say any specifics, but I was in an environment that it was not modeled. It was extremely rare that I saw something that was like, whoa, wow, it seems like someone is not scared of being vulnerable in a mild sense. So that was kind of revolutionary when I like figured out how much it sucks to be that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer.
All right, Jimmy's question.
All right. That was a good question. Jimmy, brag to me about the best things going on in the past 30 days.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Gotta brag, Jimmy. Time to brag.
Yeah.
He's like, what the?
What the fuck
guys,
do
This
I
is not
do?
what I do.
Yeah, give me something about like a childhood trauma or something. This is ridiculous.
Is there anything in there about pooping in a driveway?
There's definitely a specific.
I mean, I got nothing.
I mean,
You gotta be
small,
something.
small pleasures.
I mean,
Brag about something, man.
Be an asshole.
okay.
Toot
No,
your
that
own
wasn't in
horn.
the past 30 days.
Too many stipulations.
Is it okay if
30
we extend it
years.
to 60 days?
I'm trying to think what I could.
In the
brag
last few months.
Last,
it is a
last few
pandemic.
months, I bought stuff for my house that I got a lawnmower and a microwave and a vacuum. That's stuff that I never really thought of buying before.
It's a great feeling.
So I was like, I bought adult stuff. I think that's brag worthy.
Hell yeah.
It's you.
Yeah.
Was it a push lawnmower, or riding lawnmower?
Oh yeah, no, push lawnmower.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of a riding lawnmower.
It's got a really small
overkill.
Wait,
lawn
did you
too,
mean the
so-
Yeah.
did you mean the lawnmower was adult stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd borrow my grandpa's.
Okay. I thought you said, and I bought adult stuff. That's why I said, hell yeah.
No, that was
yes,
a part
this
of
was
Well,
there-
I mean, the lawnmower does vibrate quite a bit.
He has a dad fetish.
Yeah, it is a riding lawnmower in a different sense.
Domesticity. Is it domesticness? There's a fetish for that.
It has a very good vibration.
Jimmy is a trad wife.
Go on.
I don't know.
That is
go
a
on.
really weird
What does that
question.
mean?
Traditional wife.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
You know, like the
Like those like
Would it
those
kill you to say
drawings.
tradition?
Well, no, I mean it's internet slang. Trad
Oh.
wife, traditional wife, just being like, I'm gonna get this lawnmower for my husband. It's a sex thing.
Is Jimmy the husband too? Is he?
He can be, yeah. I mean, it's whatever he wants.
It's
man.
2020, baby.
It's
He's
it's
a
his.
monosexual.
It's
I'm
whatever.
both.
Domestic
it's-
masturbation.
Listen, all I know is I love you. and I'm glad that you got those things.
But stop
Yes.
bragging. Stop it.
bragging.
I'm so
Jeez.
dead. That's
like, come on.
apparently I'm the only one who took it that way. I thought you said and adult stuff, and I
No,
was just like, all right.
You know adult stuff.
He
I
got-
knew what Jimmy was talking about because we talked about it last night. So
The adults.
If I did get it, actually,
Yeah,
the adult stuff was my answer for the technology I wish existed.
I mean, we're really
Cybernetic
close.
sex
Oh, I
slime
know.
We're
transcendence.
pretty much there.
VR
pretty much.
for whatever you want.
I mean,
Blade
sex
Runner.
robots weigh like 400 pounds, so we got to figure that out first.
Hey, what if you're into big girls?
yeah, some
Yeah, but they're not big. If they were big, holy
They're
crap,
just
they'd be
dense.
like got crushed by his.
They're like neutron stars.
Well, it takes between 600 and 900 pounds to break the human rib cage, so I think you'd be mostly fine.
I mean, if we're at 400, if we're at
you
400,
know that.
if we're already at 400 pounds, then that means all you have to do is
Drop it on them.
is apply
Yeah.
2 G's of force.
I was one of the weird kids that watched A
Cat
1,000
jumps
Ways
on.
to Die when I was too young for it, and I remember there was a guy having sex with a 1-ton woman, and because he liked big girls, and then he died because she was on top of him.
That's a weird visual because it's just like you climb on and find something.
That show was messed
Thanks
up.
for
I mean,
bragging,
if she was
Jimmy.
if she was on top,
He's dead.
yeah, exactly. That's what we were just saying. He died.
Yeah.
She should have got him off,
He
got
died
off of him, and he was
happy,
dead.
obviously.
Jimmy, you got
Did
a
he
question
get
for
off?
Hank?
Hey, maybe.
I think I got one rooting around in my noggin.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. If you're done, I'm gonna give that back. Or
Don't
I
give it back,
know.
just
I mean, like
Yes.
everybody's having me.
Oh, that's my question.
Good answer.
Jimmy?
Hank,
Yes, Jimmy.
when you think about success, who comes to mind and why?
This is similar to a question we had on another podcast.
Larry.
It was about, I was going to say my dad, honestly, but he's actually had some failures. So
That's the point.
when we had discussed this on a past podcast, we talked like what the idea of someone's success was. Dana, you seemed to wholeheartedly say it was like in fame in a way, which I never really like. I understand there's success in fame, like being known, like that.
Well, but that was not that particular question. The way I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember
do.
what you're talking about, and I remember it was kind of like
I categorized success. I said there's financial success,
Yeah.
fame success, and like your super happy success.
you're happy, yeah.
Yeah, I
remember
gotcha.
that
'Cause, like, I don't
the
think of
parameters of the
success that
question
way.
sort of implied, like it was something like who
She
most
made
successful from your.
She made the question up. That's why.
Oh.
And then she kind
What?
of
It was on a card.
you made it up.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, so my dad does come to mind because he's at a successful business. He owns a beautiful property. He has a lot, like, honestly, not like most of my siblings, his kids, like, no one's ever been to jail. No one, like, obviously every person has their fucked up quirks or things they've probably done.
And you've got a lot of them.
Yeah, and I got all of them in the family.
No, I meant siblings.
Oh. Well, that was weird.
I meant your 8 siblings.
Placement of that comment.
Well, I think it adds to the success.
Oh
when
yeah,
you
I
say
have.
he has
Yeah,
ni-
okay.
He has 9
wanting,
kids.
Yeah, he has 9.
It's not like he has 2
I'm one of 9.
and he didn't screw them up. He has 9.
But like most all his kids are decent people. You know, it's weird to say almost. Most of them.
Hank, what are
all
you
of them.
saying? if
I'm
they're
saying-
listening?
Go ahead and name drop the ones that aren't.
I'm not going to do that.
Go ahead and just let us know which of your siblings are bad people.
But I also think.
And
so my
give
dad
out their
comes to mind.
address and phone number.
When I think of success, I think of someone that I personally know, and honestly, like, then there's the people that I think of, and like you said in the last podcast, it goes to like a fame thing, but less like how known they are. Like, honestly, someone I admire a lot is Conan O'Brien. I loved his '90s talk show and. Into the 2000s. It did get weird when he went to NBC. But he's also someone now, like, he's not afraid to talk about, like, topics that are important to the country and the world. Like, when the Black Lives Matter movement happened, he had people on his talk show. Jimmy Fallon wouldn't do that with The Tonight Show.
Really?
Like, everyone's Zooming right now, but he was having people on just to specifically talk about that, like authors of books. Like, he's like, he literally was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to put makeup on this. This isn't my studio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about things because it's weird to just be like, oh, here's a movie that might come out in a year.
Well, and that's-
Here's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And that's great because it's like the demographic for those kinds of shows are older, and it seems like
Also, he's like seems from what I've heard, like from like his writers and stuff. I mean, he gave one of his assistant a freaking, he like incorporated her in the show, and he has people like, rarely do I see other talk show hosts have their staff be a part of the show, and Conan has done that a lot.
That's pretty. I mean, I think he probably. I mean, that's pretty like because like most of the skits that you see performed on late night shows and stuff, those are being performed by the writers.
No, I know. I'm not talking about skits. He literally like goes into their lives. Like he went with his.
It's very. I think he probably got most of that from Letterman, because like Letterman is like that was his thing, was like his staff being on the show, and then like the early Conan stuff like Robert Schmeagel and stuff, and Louis C.K. Even like so many of the skits that were performed on the show were done by them. You didn't even realize it.
But also like I feel like him. He went to Comic-Con because he knew his fans like him because how genuine he is. So that's someone like I like not only is he successful, he's not the most successful talk show host, not even close as far as like viewership and money, but he also like cultivated a great following, like an authentic following, because he's pretty honest about a lot of things. Like, whereas I know like someone like Jay Leno just rubs me the wrong way because he was always kind of a little pompous, like
kind of a bastard.
I mean, I just want to. Andy Richter makes that show, like especially now.
Oh yeah, I which is great because he let him make it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He gave him the room to do that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't have a big ego. I guess more like there is like the Jimmy Fallon of him, where I don't hate Jimmy Fallon. He's just very much like, let me do the most popular things because I am the number one host. But anyway, like, yeah, Conan, I always, especially recently, because I hadn't watched him in a while, and then I saw him doing these Zoom things where he's like actually talking about subjects, because he's like, why not? Why not talk about this stuff? I'm at home on quarantine. I can Zoom with anyone I want to that wants to have a platform, and he did it. And I've listened to some fascinating ones where he's just listening. He's not trying to be funny. And I saw a lot of comments like, well, this is really genuine of him to do this, where other talk show hosts are like, let me get on Jamie Foxx and talk about his game show.
Have you watched Jibber Jabber at all? His other show? His Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah, very similar, but where it's just talking.
Yeah, hand me that deck. The last thing we're gonna do on the question one, I'm gonna pull one. We're all gonna answer it.
Cool beans.
Shuffle it good. Shuffle it up. Shuffleophagus.
What?
Make it a good one.
This one's not a good
or
one.
Put it back.
Because it's like I know everyone's answer that.
Wait, what was it? Just out of curiosity.
It said, "What will people look back at us 50 years from now and be shocked and appalled?" Like what?
I mean, there could be a lot of answers to that one.
Okay,
here ties in with my technology
Here's
question.
a good one. This is a better one. Everybody, including myself, what's one bad habit you're trying to get rid of? I mean, personally, I wish I would chewed my fingernails less. That's always been something. I mean, shit, I have fights with my girlfriend because she finds fingernails. I'm not proud of it. Because, like, I'll watch sports or I'll play a video game, and anyone who's ever chewed their fingernails will do it unconsciously.
Get a fidget cube. I know those have helped me with my like.
I probably put it in. It ended up in my mouth. I'm guaranteed.
Paint your nails.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I mean, why would I not chew them?
Because
it tastes horrible.
It tastes
I'd
horrible.
still do it.
And they look terrible.
Yeah, you don't want your nails to look bad.
That's obviously that's not the reason I chew it though. I'm not worried about them looking bad.
Hey, I used to have the same habit, and then I started painting them, and then I got in better habits, and I chew them sometimes, but like not as bad as when I was in middle school.
If I paint my nails, I don't.
Yeah.
I generally don't chew them.
Yeah, it's like a reminder. You see that fuchsia, and you're like, no, Dana.
But I'm saying I do it unconsciously, so I can't be reminded because I'm just doing it, and then I realize I'm doing it.
Well, the first step is to be conscious of it. And like I just said, you'll look at it and see it, and it's a reminder.
Well, I've been better in the past couple of years because of getting yelled at.
How about every time I see you chewing your fingernails, I'll just punch you so hard.
If you do it in the dick, it will stop.
Do you want us to call you out?
If you see it, yeah.
Okay, on it.
What are your guys's?
Mine would probably be bailing on things the second they get challenging. That's a bad habit.
Relatable.
That's a bad habit. Ben, you've been really, like, you don't let me get away with it anymore. Like, you're not stupid, Dan. Stop saying it. That's a bad excuse.
It's because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you're right, though. Yeah, that's mine.
That's a good one. That's what do you think you could proactively do? Just push through?
Mindfulness. Like when I'm in the process of doing something. Well, I think part of my problem too is that like I will try to start hard projects in the middle of a bunch of other projects.
Yeah.
And so it's not really smart to just force myself through on that. So it makes it
harder, yeah.
I need to, get my order of operations in priority. But really, I think it's just a matter of like when I'm doing something. Like I'm doing a lot of video editing now that we're all in the studio all the time. And that's something I never did for the longest time. And the thought of doing it gave me anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a sort of anxiety in the sense of like, I don't feel like I don't feel anxiety about doing it anymore. I feel like I understand it and I can edit videos well now, and I know the whole process. So it was never hard. It was never a hard thing. It was never something I couldn't do. It was just I didn't know how to do it, and for whatever reason, I have this just psychological cliff I have to get over when it comes to hard things. And yeah, so I have a really bad habit of like, oh, nope, this is hard. Somebody else do this for me.
Yeah. Starting is the hardest part. That's...
What about you, Ben?
Yeah.
Oh boy, where do I start?
What's the glaring?
Trying to do too many things.
Yep.
Because I can, not necessarily because I should be the one doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I probably have the exact opposite problem of Dan, where I'm just like, somebody else can do it, so that means I can do it too. So then I'm just like, all right, well then, I'll learn how, and then I learn how, and then it's like, it's cool. Like now I've got like that's helped me out a lot in like telecom stuff and everything, and like that's the reason why I got as far as I did, because I was just like somebody else can do it, so I can too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good
But
mentality.
then your roster gets so filled with
Yeah,
things that
and
you're
now
just
it's like-
scattered to the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like I can do 30 different things, but I can't do 30 different things at once.
We should just do the fusion dance.
Well,
And we get both of each
You
other's
just have it-
problems
Yeah.
and none of our strengths.
And then the other thing
We're
is
so useless.
The fingers touch like that.
picking my thumb and my fingers, like not the nails, which I do bite my nails, but like I pick the skin around my thumb as a nervous habit.
Can I chew on your thumb skin?
yeah, you guys should
Yeah.
trade.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. And it's not.
That doesn't help you
it's
at
like-
all.
It's literally it's so much worse than biting nails, because it's like you're
Don't
literally
get too into it. This stuff freaks me out.
you're literally just like picking the dry skin off the top and stuff, and like you eventually get to like the pink stuff underneath, and like there's
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah,
there's
that's literally what
blood and
That's
pain,
enough.
and like your thumb
Podcast is
thumb hurts
canceled.
all the time, and
All
it's
the
like, it's
ASMR
really,
people
What
just
if someone
died.
now feels good because they're like, oh, I have the same problem.
I mean,
thought I was
lots
the
of
only
people
one.
pick their
Well, you don't have to be graphic
the
about
edges
it.
of their cuticles and stuff, like they
Yeah.
and that's and it's bad because like it can get infected and like it hurts, and it's just like
It's just not a good time. Yeah.
it's not a good it's a bad thing. And like the only thing that seemed like making sure like I lotion my hands on a regular basis, because the problem like because it's when it's dry, it's easier to get your nails underneath, and like that's part of the thing is once you feel that unevenness, you want it
fidget, and you do it unconsciously.
yeah, because you want that uneven surface to be smooth and even, but you'll never
Correct, proper.
but you're never ever going to do it, because every time that you take some away, now you just put the unevenness somewhere else.
It's like that Adam Tots comic.
So
Dana, what's
Where you
yours?
take-
Oh, stop. That's what I mean. I hate that stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
what's
one.
yours,
Never.
Dana?
Never. So this is kind of a hard one for me to answer, because I do think that most of my bad habits are a result of like pretty severe ADHD, and then it kind of gets into the question like, of course they're habits, but like I do wonder sometimes how much I can help them. I am on a massive dose of Wellbutrin right now, and I still face regular problems that I feel like I don't really have control over. And the last thing I want to do is make myself a victim to it, but like I don't know. It's weird to grow up with habits that people keep telling you to fix and you just legit don't feel like you can fix them because they are so unconscious to the point where it like sabotages your ability to know it's happening. Like I know
it becomes you.
I know one thing that Hank you deal with me is you'll say that you told me something and I will have no recollection and I will be sure I remember every word of the conversation, but you'll be like, I did tell you. And I can't argue that too hard because the same thing happened with my family. My parents just said, like, I told you this thing. And it's not me, like, it's not like the stereotypical, like, I'm thinking about other things. I genuinely just think my brain will, like, not absorb certain things because it's too busy just, like, flying all over the place. And so it's really easy for me to get overwhelmed with stuff. I like Dan's answer. I have 8,000 abandoned drawings and comics, and I, think about some of them daily because I love them, but like I just don't finish them. So yeah, I mean, most of mine are definitely tied to that, which is tough because like even on this really crazy dose of medication, they're still prevalent. Therapy's helped, but I guess if I had to pick something outside of that, because that's like 90% of my bad habits, I would say the other one is, and this one's a little complicated, but it's making myself a victim of a situation. And I think like it's a touchy and like, I don't know, it's a touchy one because like, let's just say that with that lack of authenticity I was talking about earlier, basically you need to be undeniably the victim of a situation to get any sympathy. Because if you just say, hey, that kind of hurt my feelings, and someone can say, that's dumb, then you can't win because you can't get into that conversation with people who don't want to be authentic with you. So in order to like get any emotional attention as a kid, I was just like, I'm a victim here. And then everyone, would say that I was victimizing myself. And it took a long time to realize that I was doing it. And it's just a matter of balancing like how, like, it's hard to explain, but I've had a lot of like growth in terms of like not like the one I think of that was embarrassing because I think I realized it really hard was when we were going to an event and I was ready at the time that we had said the night before that we were leaving for the event, and you and Jimmy were taking a little longer, and I just stood there and stood there and stood there and stood there, and then we got like and didn't say anything, but I was like annoyed and like nervous about getting there late, and then when we got in the car, I was like, all right, we're this late, and you're like, why didn't you say something? And I was like, because I shouldn't have to, and you were like, well, you stood in the kitchen and watched us get ready, like why didn't you do something? And I remember I argued it pretty hard, but then like looking back, it's like, yeah, I figured the only way I'd be listened to in that situation was to make myself obviously the one, put out. Yeah. Yeah. Where I was ready on time. You guys weren't ready on time. And of course there's a balance to that, but it's the difference between waiting, being passive aggressive, and then striking with ammo and, hey, you're late. We wanted to start the meeting 5 minutes ago. I wish you would try to be on time more. Because that's like the authenticity thing, right? It's like being real with people in the moment, because I would just hold baggage until I could explode with it. And it doesn't work. It's a shitty coping mechanism. So sorry if that's a little bit too long of an answer.
That was fine.
But
That was good. Good job. You did it. That was a good.
Jimmy.
That was good.
Hello.
That was good.
thank you.
I have a social one and a professional one.
Okay.
My professional one is actually doing stuff. Because I have ideas from middle school, and I have not done anything with them, even though now I have access to the technology, everything. But anytime I find some kind of excuse, I'm just like, I can't because it's raining.
Making up excuses. That's kind of like the victim thing.
It's raining.
Like I wish I could.
Like
Oh, darn.
I have not paid bills it wasn't late or anything, but it's like, I'm gonna go pay bills today. And it was like cloudy. And I'm like, it might rain. I have a car. But I'm just like, might as well just stay in.
And then you go and you crash into a pole. You're like, I knew it.
I knew it.
Should have kept watching Netflix.
Yes. Yeah, that's just the victim.
That's my professional one. My social one is I have been getting better, but I had a thing where it's like I don't care about birthdays. I think they're dumb. So I wouldn't say anything to anybody because I'm like, this is stupid, but they
In-
care.
In terms of their birthdays or yours
Yeah.
or both?
Any of them?
Yeah.
From what you've told me.
Yeah, both. But if someone's gonna be like, happy birthday, I'm not gonna be like, shut up, it's made up.
Yeah.
But I have been trying to get better about saying happy birthday to people because I know they care.
Yeah.
And even though it was kind of a thing where I'm like, well, that's dumb, you shouldn't care, it doesn't matter because they do. And that's something I'm trying to get.
Birthdays are
Because
better
there's lots of things that you care about that are that are equally stupid.
Yeah, and I don't.
I mean,
care.
that goes for all of us.
But
I'm
like,
not
I don't.
singling
I
you
don't
out.
care if other people care about it though.
Yeah.
Like I don't need them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the whole thing. Is like, I'm stop pressing your beliefs on me, man. But it's childish and stupid to think like that.
Yeah.
Just be like they like
Makes them feel good.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not putting me out any. It's
Yeah.
just
And so, it's actually putting you out less because going through the effort explaining why their belief is stupid rather than just saying,
Happy birthday.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
nothing. I would never do that. I would
Yeah.
just wouldn't say anything.
yeah.
But
Or just even putting up the effort of not responding.
Jimmy, I have to say
Happy
that
birthday.
recently, when it was your birthday, everyone in the group chat was saying happy birthday, and I pointedly didn't.
and I
for that
appreciate
reason.
that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I do.
I sent the gift because I thought it was funny.
I texted him on the side.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Wow.
That was also like, hey, what are you talking
Wow.
about? Also, that podcast thing that you were talking about. Let's
Wow.
do that.
Yeah, I need a reason also to talk to you.
No, I appreciate
And
that.
I thought of your birthday, and then I'm like, well, I'm still going to ask him things.
I don't remember anybody's birthday. Like
Yeah, me neither.
yeah.
I
Yours is
know it
August
'cause, like,
6th,
both-
right? Though?
16th.
August 7th?
But like, I don't retain it because like I don't care.
Yeah.
So I don't retain that. If I
Hey.
don't even, I missed my
It's-
birthday one
it's
day.
not
Jimmy,
even
what's
that
your
I-
social security number?
Oh, it is 744334455433443.
All right. You're going to get a lot of packages in the mail.
Somehow. 77P.
What's your P.O. box? All right, guys. Well, that was the Podecks episode of Mistakes Are Delicious. Hope you learned some stuff about us.
Which talent? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you for.
My best talent is ending this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to the Mistakes Are Delicious podcast. Please subscribe or follow on the various platforms you might be listening to this on. You can find all the podcasts on dancakes.com. Please comment on what you'd like to hear us talk about or what games you'd like us to play. And like and share with your friends. And more importantly, guys, mistakes are delicious. Until next time.